Hey everybody, Todd here. I just wanted to let everybody know I hope you're safe and staying healthy. God willing, we'll be through this coronavirus situation soon. In the meantime, we've rolled out a way to still do depositions. We're doing them remotely now via the free Zoom app. Many clients are already seeing the advantages of this because it can be done from anywhere and on any device. I've already done a podcast about it and started a resource library for it at www.toddolivas.com/remote depositions. Check that out or give us a call at 888-566-0253. Okay, on to the podcast.
One of the things we noticed is there are a lot of subgroup organizations in this industry, but there wasn't one for African Americans. We felt that what we were seeing with a lot of people in the industry is that we weren't connected. A lot of people didn't know each other. A lot of people were struggling trying to figure out how to navigate their career because no one planned to get in comp. So we were thinking, hey, why don't we few these things just to get people together and really talk about some issues that, even diversity and inclusion. Yeah, my name is Anthony Culpepper Jr., and I am a supervising partner at Michael Sullivan and Associates.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Anthony, for joining us here on the T.O.A. Storytellers podcast. And like I was just mentioning, I have zero agenda. I just wanted to hear your story. That's why we even entitled this T.O.A. Storytellers, to talk about how you got to be where you are. I know that you're currently the president of the African American Workers' Comp professional organization. That's a nonprofit. We'll get into that. As well as supervising partner here at Michael Sullivan and Associates in El Segundo office. It's a full plate.
It is. Just a little bit of background. No one plans to go into workers' comp. That's the common theme you hear everywhere, and it's no different for me.
Well, why do you think that is? That is so true, but I don't know why that is. It's a great aspect of the law.
I think it's just unknown. Not a lot of people know about it unless you have an injury.
Yeah.
You just don't know about these things. So, going through law school. I didn't even take insurance law, but if you do, you maybe have 1 week of workers' comp, and
wow.
It's different from state to state. And California's workers' comp is pretty prominent, but
You did law school in San Francisco, right?
San Francisco, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So, so I had no intentions of going into workers' comp. I actually wanted to be in criminal law.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I was testing out, if I wanted to be on the prosecution or defense side. I actually interned at the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office downtown.
What time frame is this?
This was summer 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, 2011. And literally, my maybe first week on the job, I'm walking in there, and I worked in the gang unit, and it's so informal. So I'm walking down the hall. I got a nice suit on. I'm trying to be as cordial as possible, and I hear one of the attorneys scream, "What the fuck?" Like screaming.
At somebody.
I don't know if it was at somebody. I think they were just pissed about something.
Yeah.
And I realized that wasn't uncommon. There was,
Oh, wow. First week of the job. Welcome.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that happen. It's stressful. You're dealing with a lot of things, a lot of politics down there too. Most of the attorneys down there, you have a few true believers, but a lot of them are, trying to either further a political career, maybe want to be a judge or, something like that, or have a criminal defense practice. But it's interesting. You're dealing with a lot. It's pretty informal. We were having like beers and pizzas for lunch,
Yeah.
So it's that kind of environment. But I learned really quickly that criminal law wasn't for me.
Really?
Yeah. So, and it wasn't because of that. I actually saw and was involved in 2 murder trials.
Mm-hmm.
And I just saw, the politics of it, it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
Because, there's something called prosecutorial discretion. And you think as a prosecutor, you have, the option of charging who you want to charge and pursuing what you want to pursue. The truth is, when you're a young deputy attorney, you really don't have those options. It's your bosses that are making those decisions for you. So
you have no choice of what you're given. Just
I imagine you can probably have some say so, but really it's at the the head deputy and the assistant head deputies. They're making the charging decisions, and you're just going forward with it, and that can be tough when you don't really believe in your case. So, and when you have people's lives in the balance of your hands, that can be hard to live with.
So you did 2 murder trials though during that tenure?
Yeah, I helped on 2 murder trials, and both of them were acquittals. And yeah, it was I actually thought one person was guilty and one person wasn't. But it was challenging. I even had challenges with my boss, who was prosecuting the case, because she would ask me, my thoughts. And, there were 3, she had 3 law students helping her. And, I was the only one saying, hey, hold up 1 second, hold on.
Let's double check on some things first.
So it's kind of hard when you're the only one always kind of going against the grain.
Man. What kind of toll does that take? Like, how long does a trial like that last, like a murder trial? Weeks or months?
It depends on the how high profile it is.
But like those 2, like what?
Those 2, I think it was about a week, maybe a little over a week.
So the actual time in trial is fairly short, but I bet you the ramping up is months worth of.
Yeah, it's a lot of preparation. I mean, you're working closely with the police department. You're prepping your witnesses. And in these cases, the particular cases I was on, the actual crime happened about 3 years prior.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you're dealing with witnesses who have no idea what they saw 3 years later.
Of course,
actually, one of the cases we had was a young boy who was actually 14 at the time the murder happened, and it was dark, and, he thought he saw something, and then at the time of trial, once he was cross-examined by the defense attorney, it's like, did you really see it? Or, then, the police has tactics that are, they're effective to some degree, but they can put pressure on you. So you're dealing with all that as a prosecutor,
It's a lot.
So, and then you're dealing with the jury and the judge, and, a lot of, criminal convictions turn on the jury, whether they like you or not.
Yeah.
Sad to say.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, but though at a certain point, it made sense for you to get out of that, go do something else. Did you already know what you wanted to transition over to, or was it kind of like a leap of faith moment,
Yeah, I was kind of lost in the wilderness at that point. I was just, trying to get through law school and try to find some opportunities where they may exist. So my second year of law school, I saw a job opening at Travelers Insurance. I had no idea what for, had no idea what practice group I would be in, but, I applied because I was looking for work. And they called me, and I had a background as a claims adjuster, not in workers' comp, but, they thought that was pretty cool and maybe useful. So
when did you get that, though?
I was right out of college.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or shortly after college. I was a auto and liability adjuster at Farmers Insurance.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did that for about 3 years. Yeah.
That's a pretty helpful experience, though, knowing, these things, there are claims and they need to be adjusted,
Well, claims floors operate the same.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right, yeah.
Yeah, the pressure is the same, the metrics, you have metrics you have to meet.
Yeah.
The type of exposure you have with attorneys and regulatory requirements are the same. So,
what was your position there at Travelers when you got that job?
I was an adjuster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was an auto adjuster and a liability adjuster.
Don't they say don't get a job while you're in law school if you can?
This was before law school.
Oh, even before law school.
Yeah, I didn't go to law school right out of undergrad. Yeah, so
Okay.
I took some time off, and I was actually turned off from being a lawyer for a couple of years.
Really?
Yeah. So I ultimately went back. Kind of when the economy turned, I said, it's a great time to get back in school. So.
Why San Francisco, though? Why that law school up there? Did you already live there? Or
I'm actually from San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
But that's not the reason why I chose law school. I chose it at the time, that was the best package that was being offered to me financially from the various schools that I was admitted to. And then I had
University of San Francisco School of Law.
Right. Mm-hmm. And then I had a place to live free of charge up there. So
nice.
that was
Plus,
helpful.
I love San Francisco. I was talking to Rick earlier. It was like, he asked me if I could live anywhere in the whole world. And if money was an object, of course, it would be like in a high-rise deluxe.
Super gloomy.
I just love the weather there. And anyway, did you like it there?
Like the cold.
Yeah. I like the cold, I guess.
Cold the opposite.
Did you like the weather there?
I love San Francisco.
Yeah.
I mean, I even, when I first moved to LA, I was so used to wearing big jackets. I'm wearing big jackets like 80 degrees, and people are looking at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah.
So, but I love the city. I like being able to, get around without having to drive everywhere. I like the hills. I like the kind of
food.
I like the food. The food's awesome. And it's just the culture is a little different. It's a little more laid back than in LA.
Oh yeah.
So.
Hey, when you said that for a couple of years you got turned off the idea of becoming an attorney, what turned it back around? What was the impetus for that?
I think time. I was in a program at UCLA called Law Fellows, and the idea is, to help law students kind of get a, feel for what being a lawyer is like. So you had mentors who were lawyers, and there were 3 of them in particular, and they would, tell stories about their lives, and none of it seemed exciting at all. It seemed horrible, actually.
Yeah. No offense, but not exciting at all.
It seemed horrible. And at the time you start building expenses, and it's like, all right, do I really want to do this?
Right.
So, yeah.
But it eventually made sense for you, and so you obviously went back in 2010 to get your JD.
Came back around. So I went back. I always kind of had a passion for it. Initially, law school was a means of kind of going into politics, initially. And then I got turned off, to politics, and really just came a way to figure out how to argue with people better. So, So
growing up, were you like on a debate team? Did you always have strong opinions about certain things, political and otherwise?
Yep.
From day one, like your whole life?
From day one, I was always opinionated, but I always had a sense of reason to me. Even my family to this day will tell me that you were kind of the rational person, and you were convincing, and you were able to get your point across effectively. So
not just arguing for the argument's sake.
Right. Yeah. So
that's always good.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I would argue for argument's sake.
You were talking earlier about mentorship. Do you have someone that you look up to, and do you mentor yourself? Because, you just seem like that kind of guy, just loves to give advice and, argue with people.
I do, both on both accounts. My mentor, professionally, I didn't really have a true professional mentor. But, kind of my hero in my life was my grandfather, my mother's my maternal grandfather. He passed away 2 years ago, but good traits and bad traits, I really took after him a lot. So he was the person I kind of admired.
After law school, did you have the direction that you wanted to go for in mind?
So I told you my second year, second summer in law school, I worked at Travelers.
Yep.
That ended in August. Came back to law school for my 3rd year. They made me an offer to come work in my 3rd year. So, I had a ready-made job out of law school. So
in-house at Travelers.
In-house at Travelers.
Nice.
And so that's where I started my career.
Cool.
Yeah.
How long did you last there? Or stay there?
3 years?
Yeah, a little about 3 years. This December 2016.
How'd you know?
I'm taking a wild guess. No, I'm just kidding. I'm looking at his profile. I'm stalking him.
So I guess from August 2013 to December 2016.
Right. Yeah. Why would a Travelers have an in-house legal counsel team and also outside counsel as well? Why wouldn't they just all have it, in-house?
Well, they sell different products. Obviously they went in-house because it's cost effective.
Yeah.
Some of their claims aren't extremely complicated, and they don't want to go out and pay higher fees, for some of their cases.
So it's an economic thing
It's
on the
a
front
huge
end.
economic thing.
Okay, yeah.
But then some of their clients really want firms.
Yeah.
So that there's a product they sell where they have that choice. So they have a panel and then they have in-house as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
When you're in, I've always wondered this. If you're an in-house at let's say a Travelers, is there still the drive for like the billable time, or that's not even part of the equation because it's a salary thing and just work the files?
There's no incentive to bill.
Okay.
About that.
So it's different in that sense.
Yeah, they want you to bill because it's different though. But they want to keep track of the cost of it. They want to see how cost effective it is. So they want you to track it for their purposes.
Did you find a lot of enjoyment in that side of things? Because you lasted there quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. I mean, it was actually, ironically, our office I was in Diamond Bar, and all the attorneys were fairly young. Even the managing attorney was fairly young at the time. We all keep in contact this day, so we're all kind of
cool.
Early on in our careers, together. So we're kind of building our brands together, and so it was kind of cool.
Yeah. Did along the way, I didn't ask you this, but did you get married, or are you married, or?
Yeah, so I did get married in December. August of 2016.
Oh,
yeah,
great.
But my wife and I separated. That's why it's a little.
That's a little bit dicey.
Yeah.
I can edit that part if you want.
It's known. So
but marriage is hard.
Yeah.
Believe me, I know. I'm on my second one. I'm on my second one. If I had stayed married to my first one, because I got married way too young, in my early 20s, she was 21, I was 22. It would have been 27 years this year.
Oh wow,
that's right.
I don't even look old. Tell me this, right?
Yeah.
Rick, tell me this.
Like when you got married at 3 years old.
Yeah.
I'm almost 50, man. 50
you look good.
But
good.
I'm sure, despite the quality of the two parties, it just didn't work out.
Yeah. We're still good. We have 2 kids, so we
awesome. And what are the ages of the kids?
So I have a kid who is almost 2.
Yep.
And then I have a 3.5-year-old.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So nice and close. Yeah.
So they're not worried about school yet.
Well, the 3.5-year-old is going to what they call a pod school.
Okay.
So it's parents who kind of know each other and kind of kids they already kind of played together.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
We pay a teacher to come in and teach them. So it's pretty cool. She likes it. All the kids are around 3 or 4, and there's 4 of them. And, they're in the backyard of one of the parents' homes. So
That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, why did you leave Travelers at that point? Some point?
I had gotten married in that August.
Yeah.
I lived in L.A. I was tired of commuting to Diamond
Bar so far.
Yeah.
And, I wanted to make some more money. I mean, quite frankly, so, and I wanted, a different experience. I kind of wanted, the law firm, grind.
Vibe. Yeah.
Yeah. If nothing else, just to say I did it,
Yeah.
But, yeah.
You're doing it, man, because now you're the senior partner here. I think that's what I said, right? Supervising partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who do you supervise?
So I have a team of 4 in the El Segundo office here.
Right.
There's a total of, now I think we have 12 attorneys total here.
Right.
That's a whole nother challenge.
Well, this is such a strange year that right now that we're in your office, and probably during normal times it would have been hustling, bustling with activity with people in and out. But today, because of COVID, it's like you probably wouldn't even be here today if this podcast wasn't. You'd be at home, right?
Well, or at court, or in a deposition, So
Right.
But there are some good things that are coming out of this, though. I mean,
what do you see what are the silver linings that you've seen?
I mean, we're getting more efficient, obviously.
Yeah.
Initially we were trying to figure out. I'm sure you guys were dealing with this too, of how to keep the depositions going, keep the case moving along, and I think we're figuring that out now, and we're on these Zoom depots now, and
thank God this didn't happen in the 80s or the 90s when Zoom or the infrastructure wasn't there around.
Exactly.
Could not have happened.
Exactly.
We're super lucky.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're figuring it out. I think I think from a firm standpoint, we've actually done fairly well during COVID. So we haven't. I think we've actually done better.
Wow.
Yeah, ironically.
Wow. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I think we have a strong brand. One, I think there are probably some other firms that probably aren't as sturdy as we are that couldn't continue, so their business moved other places. And then we were one of the first to be on top of COVID and doing webinars and things like that. So I think that lended us some credibility. So I think they were
100%, because Michael Sullivan himself has been on this podcast twice. The first time pre-COVID, the normal old days, and then when you guys came out with that COVID-19 resource that's quite in-depth and became like pretty amazing, then he invited me to talk about that again on this. And so you guys were once again on the forefront, because not only do you have the compendium, the book every year, which is kind of like the industry go-to standard, right? But now you have the COVID-19 version online and all the changes that happened, and so
the book was genius. I gotta give it to him. I'm sure it took a lot of hard work, but it paid off handsomely. That COVID-19 thing I'm looking at your website right now. Has it been a good thing for you guys to have poured all that energy into? So here's the thing. I think overall and on balance, yes. For what I said earlier, I think it's lended a lot of credibility to this firm. But we haven't seen a whole lot of COVID workers' comp claims.
That's what other people have been telling us too. Is not that many yet. And
and that's the thing. Like, you're going to see a lot of residuals as we learn more about it. And I think generally in this type of environment, a lot of people don't want to rock the boat with their employment. So there's a lot of factors there, but we just really don't know what it's going to look like in the future. So, but I think being on top of it, let everyone know, that we're legit, and we have the resources to get on top of this thing if it
no question
happens.
No question, you guys are legit, and people know that out there. So do you spend a lot of your day are you still doing file work yourself, or is it just still caseload?
I got a heavy caseload.
Wow.
Above average caseload. How about that? But and that's one of the things. It's you can handle a higher caseload now that
no more
I'm
travel.
not traveling all over the place,
That's right?
Yeah. So, I have some capacity for a higher file count. It's still challenging though, trying to manage and at the same time be a contributor as well.
I'm sure the clients like that part of it too, right? The travel fees have now plummeted and gone away almost, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're not paying us fees, and they're not paying applicant attorneys to travel to depots anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So how are you liking doing depositions via Zoom or WebEx these days?
I'm used to it now.
Not ideal, but getting used to it.
I mean, there's some things you miss. Obviously, there's some things you can't catch on the Zoom platform that you could see, sitting across
body
from one
language.
Yeah. But I think that's where we're going. I think that's even after COVID. I think that I think that's going to stick.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about too.
Yeah.
It's going to be probably a little bit longer, I don't think people, they're going to just, like you said, realize the saving cost and all that kind of stuff, and just fast forward a year or 2 years from now, even vaccines that happen, hopefully, God willing, everything is really squared away on that end, but the technology is pretty amazing and quite beneficial in a lot of ways.
And it's hard to gauge what you're actually losing by not being in person. It's really hard to make that tangible. So
I guess you'll have to gauge it on a case-by-case, file-by-file basis. If you really think that particular applicant needs to be in person, then go in person. Otherwise, other ones can be remote. So, pretty strange year, man. I don't know. On a family front, has it been hard with the kids and life outside of work too?
Well, I'm really close to my family on both sides. And my wife was really close to her family. So my kids, they were with their grandparents and their aunts and uncles all the time. So it's hard. My family, my mother's side's up in the Bay Area, and I would usually see them a few times a year.
Right.
And I don't think I've seen them since last Christmas. I think that was it. So, and I probably, won't see them until hopefully sometime in the summer. So
next week's Thanksgiving, which would normally be a big family time. It sucks.
I will say though, my family, we're utilizing Zoom, so and the good part is you can bring people in, from Michigan, that you normally wouldn't see. So
I know, and everybody, even grandma and grandpa, they probably all got Zoom accounts now.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, so talk to me okay, so you got the day job, which is more than full, family life too, but then you're also the founding member and board and the president of the African American Workers' Compensation Professionals Organization. What's the genesis of that idea and that whole?
Yeah, I'm crazy. I don't know.
It's like an extra layer.
Yeah, keep piling that plate on.
Yes.
Well, where it came from, there were a few of us. So Stacy, Gunn, and I don't know if you know Zanetta Creighton. She's our director of client relations here. So we were all, we talked, and we, one of the things we noticed is there are a lot of, subgroup organizations in this industry, but there wasn't one for African Americans. And then we felt that what we were seeing with a lot of people in the industry is that we weren't connected. A lot of people didn't know each other. A lot of people were struggling trying to figure out how to, navigate their career because no one planned to get in comp. So
again, yeah.
So, we were thinking, hey, why don't we, it's like part professional development, part support group, part networking. It's just, it's a few of these things just to get people together and really talk about some issues that, even diversity and inclusion.
What year did it form? What year was this?
Well, late 2019.
Okay, just about a year ago.
And really, we just incorporated in July.
Yeah, so just this year. Wow, strange time to be starting a whole new organization, right? But maybe even more needed than ever. I don't know,
Well, so here's the interesting thing. So we had a really great kickoff event in January. And then March comes and COVID's here, and our whole strategy changes. We use this time to really build the foundation now, as opposed to just having events. Now we're getting the structure in place to make it last. And then in the summer, then you have the George Floyd, killing. So now race issues are at the forefront of everything now, mind. Right? So, 100%. I'm a person that thinks everything happens for a reason. So, we were able to kind of shift and use what was going on in this world to really, propel us and really make the group more meaningful. So, I think we're in a good place. Yeah. So I'm very happy given what's happened this year where we're at.
Yeah, especially, a lot of great people are on this board too. Stacey and Gail Porter Ventus, Tiffany Williams, Sherry Lawrence.
Yeah, and the goal was
Young.
to really get a cross section of people in the industry.
Right. Carol Wheatley too.
Yeah, so we wanted different people to really represent the industry, so everyone can feel included and feel like this organization is beneficial for them.
And the mission statement of it all is if there was a bottom line that you would tell somebody, professional development, social action, networking, those.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it right there. Yeah, we're all about making the industry more diverse,
right?
And we're all about
love that,
bringing others into the industry. Like I said, no one knows about this industry. You either fall in it or you don't. So, but it's a really good industry, and what I'm finding is that people really just don't know how to navigate the industry. So, that's one of the things that we're trying to do through a mentorship program that we're hoping to roll out sometime next year.
I love it. I'm all on board, and you and I have talked a little bit already offline, but we can talk some more about it offline. But us helping out in what way we can.
Wonderful.
Hey, how did you get to meet Stacey in the first place?
Well, Stacey's she's a client of ours, so Keenan's a good client of the firm's. So I met her a few years ago.
Right.
Through work. found out that she lived in the same community as an uncle of mine.
Really?
Yeah. So I actually saw her walking her dog one day. Yeah. So it's interesting, but yeah, we just connected. You know, we kind of vibed. You know, Zanetta and I first talked about this group, and we said, "Hey, let's reach out to Stacy."
Yeah,
because I think she would be very.
Have
valuable.
you met her son, Cameron? By the way,
I have. Actually, know Cameron very well.
Yeah, well, we know Cameron too because he, for a brief period of time, we worked with him here. He, while he was up there, he was in law school in San Francisco.
He went to University of San Francisco.
Same as you, yeah. And I'd spent a lot of time with him in the car, driving around, and super smart guy. So he reminded me, or you remind me of him.
Yeah, he actually went to UCLA too.
Yeah, I know.
He actually
synchronicities.
was in my fraternity. So
oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah. So
what a coincidence.
Yeah, I knew Cameron before I knew Stacy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So small world.
Why?
Well, because
of the fraternity?
Yeah, because the fraternity. I was involved in, I was involved with UCLA for a while.
Gotcha.
He's younger than me, but
yeah,
that's how I met him.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think he decided law wasn't his cup of tea after a while, but
I'm not sure.
Something else.
I'm not sure what he's doing right now.
He should be a history professor, right?
He should go into politics. That's what
I'm saying. Talk about a super smart, highly intelligent guy with a lot of opinions.
Yeah.
And retains everything.
There you go. Right there. A lot of opinions.
Yeah. Persuasive opinions.
And not afraid to share them.
No.
Yeah.
In a kind way. He was always super. Yeah. Anyway, it is a small world. Like you see Stacy walking her dog, and you already know her son.
Yeah,
exactly. Then she's your client. Now you're on this organization together.
Exactly. And Stacy's been very helpful. Like I'm really glad that she's on the board.
Yeah.
So
you, Rickman, you mentioned mentoring. I feel like having known Stacy too, gotten lucky enough to know her for all these years, that she's a real mentor type, to me and so many other people too.
Same here, me too.
Yeah, she cares. I mean, she cares about
it's
people.
Real.
Yeah,
that's so true.
And if you're a good person, she'll do what she can to help you out.
Yeah.
That's just the type of person she is. So I definitely admire that about her.
Right.
Yeah. And she 100%. Has great advice too. Just when she tells you better run with that.
Yeah. And take it to the bank.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it goes back to I don't know, we're all interconnected, you know what I mean, in so many ways. So in real world ways where it's you happen to see her walking her dog and stuff, those are funny little small ways, but in a larger sense, we're all connected.
Yeah.
And so if somebody does well, I mean, it's kind of that's your brother or that's your sister doing well too, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's how I always feel.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish the world thought more like that.
Yeah.
We should be a we society, but
it's like a zero-sum game mentality, unfortunately. You know what I mean? Where it's if somebody's winning, that means I'm losing. No, it doesn't have to be that way. It could be you can cheer somebody else's success on.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
What is next for you? It's 2021 is almost here around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
You've got full plate supervising and running your own files, and then children, life, organization, AAWCP, which, by the way, for anybody out there, you can go to aawcp.org to check it out.
Yep.
But what do you hope for 2021? What do you see?
Well, assuming I make it out alive of 2020.
You will.
Well, to tell you, I was in 2019. I couldn't wait for 2020, and then I'm I'd rather go back to 2019 right now.
Can you remember New Year's Eve, 2019, going into 2020, that toasting everything? All right, to a brand new year, it's 2020, everybody. If only we knew.
Exactly. But I guess that's the beauty of life. You never know what's coming next. But I can tell you this. From a professional standpoint, I'm really looking. I'm new to management, so I'm really looking to kind of gain more management skills and really kind of understand how to be successful as a manager. I am. From the organization standpoint, we are looking to really just put on meaningful programs, connect with different people. We have the the holiday party coming up in a couple weeks here, and we're actually getting people from all over the country.
Really?
Like not just California. Wow. Yeah, like I'm getting people from New York and Florida and Atlanta, Georgia, reaching out to me saying, "Hey, I want to join."
Amazing.
Yeah. So we have linked up. There's a woman named Margaret Spence. I don't know if you know her. She's CEO of Douglas and Associates out in Florida. Okay. I met her on a webinar we did together with through WorkComp Central, and she's a consultant. In workers' comp out there, and she's actually worked in California comp as well. Yeah, but she's awesome. So she's really connected with the group.
There's another workers' comp podcast I saw that you liked on your LinkedIn recently. I can't remember the name of it. Was it called Adjusted or something like that? Or
I saw that. I can't remember if I liked it or not, but yeah, I did see there's a new.
I think you liked it.
Probably
I was going to check it out based on your recommendation. And now you're not so sure.
I just like the name. It was cool.
It was cool. Claire Musselman puts it on, I think. Does that ring a bell at all?
No.
I'll have to ring.
I probably just, saw it. And
saw it.
Yeah, I thought that was
no
cool.
worries. Because this is the only podcast on workers' comp that matters. It's a zero-sum game in my mind.
Yeah. I don't know. Mike Sullivan might have something to say about that.
No, I'm totally kidding. No, that's great. So with the challenges of management, you know what I mean? Because you've been trained as an attorney.
Yeah.
And so, but then also now you got to supervise human beings, and sort of, it's almost HR-ish, right? What are some of those challenges?
Human beings is a stretch for attorneys. Right? We're a different breed. Yeah. Trying to manage an attorney is challenging. But everyone, personality challenges are the hardest. Everyone here is super motivated and type A people, and we all have our own ideas of how to best achieve success.
Yeah.
So I think we're taught to be individual contributors, but we're really not taught how to work together.
Yeah.
It's kind of, I guess, the problem of the world, right? We're looking out for us, and when you have to, as a manager, you kind of have to look out for the group, and when those two concepts kind of clash, and you're dealing with someone who knows how to argue effectively and right, and gets really hurt if you say anything negative about them, right? So yeah, it's tough, and they can sue you, right?
Oh man,
yeah. Wow.
But hopefully, through the vetting and the hiring process, you've hired a certain kind of person that can, go with the flow.
And that's a skill I'm building too. I think that's hard. I think recognizing that the type of personality that will fit within the culture of your office is challenging. So, and sometimes you win and sometimes you lose on that one. But that's something I'm learning through Mike Sullivan, Bart Sullivan, Jamila Harris, who's a managing partner here.
Right.
So I'm just trying to soak up the information.
Does Mike still do the interviewing for new attorneys still?
Yeah, I think he interviews almost everybody, if not everybody.
Yeah. So that's good. So there's sort of that quality control kind of built in.
Yeah.
Branding.
I think he likes to meet, all the attorneys, and he likes to give them the Michael Sullivan test and stamp of approval.
Yeah.
So,
what was your interview like with him?
Oh, okay. It's funny. Like I didn't know if he liked me or not. I thought I answered his questions fairly well, but Mike.
Yeah. Was it in this room right here?
No, it was in his office. Okay. It was in his office, so he's really lax. So it was Mike Sullivan and Janie Nethery, who's the executive director here, and Janie was smiling the whole time. So I said, all right. She likes me.
Yeah, go ahead. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but Mike was,
poker face?
Yeah, he just, there were some questions where I took some time answering, and he seemed like a little annoyed.
That you took your time?
Initially, yeah. So I actually interviewed with Bart first, and Bart's a little different. Bart, it's like he like gets into your head and really wants to know about you, right? So I thought I did okay because I'm that type of person. Mike just seems like a straight shooter. Yeah. And then he told me, he said, and this is kind of my challenge, he said, man, you seem so laid back. I don't know if you're going to be aggressive.
He said that?
Yeah, because I am a laid back person. I'm chill, and, I can amp up when necessary, but I'm normally
I see it as and I just met you today.
Yeah.
But I see it as not laid back, although yes, laid back, that yes, but more confident and just like chill. You don't need to be in some aggressive, assertive posture right now. You just like, you're cool with what you know what I mean? And you don't need to like,
you don't need to yell down the hallway.
Well, see, I like that because, that's kind of my philosophy. I feel like, we conflate aggressiveness with just being rude and just being, mean. And that's, and it's effective for some people because, you just sometimes just don't want to deal with the mean person. You're like, fine.
Well, it's like a barking dog. I'm going to stay away from the barking dog.
Exactly. But in this industry, I don't know if it's as effective as if you were in a civil practice.
Exactly.
Because, we see each other all the time. Yeah, exactly. So.
Thank God.
But, some attorneys can make that, adaptation and some can't.
When you were interviewing with Mike, back to that, he gives you like law questions or what, like scenarios and things like that. Can you remember what some of those were like?
Yeah, I remember them because I've sat in on some recent interviews and he had the same questions.
The same old ones.
So he'll ask questions about he'll give you a real life scenario about a case he had. Someone for example who. I'm going to screw this up, but, someone who has a claim of injury and we catch them, on surveillance, doing something they said they couldn't do, right? How do you, and then he says, I got this person to go to jail and I got them to withdraw their case. How did I do that? All right. And that's the type of question he gives you.
Wow.
And the answer to that, for all the future attorneys that's going to be
who are listening and getting cliff notes right here.
Is you would depose the person and get them under oath and get them to lie under oath, and then you would also go to the attorney and said, hey, do you want him to also perjure himself on the stand? And
no, we don't.
Or you want to withdraw your case? And if your client's going to perjure themselves as an attorney, you can't ethically let them do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Did you get that right? Do you remember?
I think I did. It took me a while though because I was. It felt like a trick question. It felt weird, and I mean, it seems so simple when you think about it, but it just seemed like there was a catch to it. So I was thinking about it, and I think I got the right answer eventually, but. It was like a weird moment of silence.
Well, I know Mike, and he loves Depo, so I guess if you just answered Depo to everything he ever asked, it probably is pretty good chance of being correct, right? Deposition? Yes.
Yeah. Oh, Mike feels like a deposition. That's a very important in every case.
Very important tool.
Yeah.
It's where it's won or lost right there. I think that's he said to me before.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
I agree with it in many cases, yes. I do think there's some cases where a depo is just exposure that we're paying because we kind of know what's happening. There's not like a whole lot of
unearthing to do.
Yeah. And I think I would say 80% of the time we're doing a depo.
Right.
But there's a 20% where it's not necessary, at least at the stage we're looking at. So,
yeah. So then all the more so, like nowadays with remote depots, such a thing, it sucks to not be able to be in the room all the time, but it is the way it is. So I'm sure new skills can be developed to sort of gauge people, even though they're on a screen, even though they're looking at a laptop instead of them, 6 feet away or whatever.
Yeah.
New skills, to.
Yeah, I mean,
truth detect.
Yeah, we are learning, and I guess as technology gets better, we'll have clear pictures and be able to zoom in and do some different things with it. So
right. I actually forgot Michael Sullivan has a podcast too, right? About this. That's why. That's why you said what I said after I said what I said. That's right. That's so true.
Yeah. That's the thing now.
Yeah, it's like everyone's got a podcast.
Everyone's got a podcast.
Everyone's got a podcast.
That's kind of cool, though.
This podcast is not about comp, though. Yeah. This podcast is just about people's stories who we happen to know a lot of people in comp, know. We've had people that are just entrepreneurs, too, and,
Yeah. So what made you want to do the podcast?
We were having amazing conversations with clients, like let's say we were at lunch with you, we'd be having a similar thing. I'd be curious about your story, you know what I mean? And so then when podcasting became a thing, I thought, well, maybe we should learn how to do it, get some mics and capture it. And then put it out there because maybe other people could be inspired by your story, and I'm sure they will.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you have come so far, and you know, a success story kind of like breeds wind into other people's sails, I think, sometimes. You know.
Yeah.
And maybe to you it's mundane because it's just your story, or it's my story, or whoever is talking about themselves. But when other people hear it, they can be inspired about what they could possibly do and overcome. You know.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that. So, kind of part of promoting this group and this holiday party, I was, you know, reaching out to a lot of people on LinkedIn. Some I knew, some I didn't. Just telling them about the group, about the holiday party.
Right.
And this particular claims examiner reached back out to me and was like, "Hey, you know, kind of stuck." You know, in the industry, you know, and you know, that can happen.
Yeah.
And this person was, you know, saying, "Hey, how did you navigate this? And do you know people that have navigated too?" So she was looking for, almost like a mentor, and you know, somebody to like kind of guide. You know, through, you know, some of the fog, you know, you get stuck, you know, some people want to be on the claims floor, and, you know, that's fine. But some people don't really want to be on the claims floor, but they don't really know what else is there. Out there. So
how'd that feel to be asked?
It's a little interesting. It's weird.
It's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And it's also cool to connect people with other people. That was kind of one of the motivations for this group too, is to bring people, you know, now we're connecting with people who are like, you know, VPs of, you know, some of these big TPAs and these insurance companies, and, you know, Amitros, you know, who's, you know, deals with, you know, structured settlements, and connecting them with other people, you know, and kind of, you know, building bridges, you know, so, you know, people can kind of direct their own career as opposed to
for those people listening at home. go check out AAWCP.org to see what he's talking about. www.aawcp.
There's a contact information tab. Leave your contact info, and someone will reach out to you.
Is the holiday party in person?
Virtual.
It's all virtual?
It's virtual. It's COVID friendly.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So we have, it's really cool. I think I've seen it one other place now, but when we thought about it, I hadn't seen it yet. But so we actually have a former in-person party planner who shifted her operations, you know, from, you know, due to COVID to the virtual space.
Right.
And so we're gonna have a DJ, who I believe is on the East Coast. We're gonna have a comedian.
No way.
Yeah.
So actual entertainment.
We're gonna have a raffle. You know, it's a really cool platform to use. We're gonna have a virtual lounge, so if you want to.
So it's not Zoom.
It is Zoom,
and not a bartender.
But
what about the bartender?
We had an option for the bartender, and we chose not to go with the bartender. But
wait, how would that even work? Well, how's a bartender work?
Well, they just show you how to make the drink.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So you send out, you know, what the special drink is, and you have everyone get the ingredients, and they show you.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
very it's cool. Kind of fun.
Yeah. So,
but it is on Zoom, but it's also got this whole other structure too that makes it fun.
Yes. And
cool.
I've seen it. It's pretty cool.
Nice. When's that party anyway?
December 5th.
Coming up. Oh,
Saturday.
Man, coming up.
7 p.m.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, what did I skip or what did I miss that you cared to like kind of?
I think you got most of it. You know, it's a cool opportunity. Glad you reached out.
Oh man, I'm grateful that you said yes to tell your story. You know.
Yeah. I think it's a cool concept, and I'm excited. I admit, you know, with shame that I haven't heard the podcast.
With shame. Zero shame needed.
Now that I know about it, I can tune in.
We'll release this in the next couple days.
Okay.
We'll probably like Tuesday of next week, and then send you a link all about it, and you can check it out. And you know, you'll be guest, I think, number 49. So we're almost at 50 guests.
Oh, cool.
Pretty cool, huh?
It is pretty cool.
A little over a year now, and so I've just been super lucky. And the whole genesis of it was just literally getting to know so many amazing people and hearing their stories, but then enjoying in the moment. But then once it's gone, it's gone. You know that story not captured. So to capture it and build a library of them over time. So somebody could be listening to this podcast in 10 years from now and still learning about you, and you could send your grandkids over to hear. You're not that old, but I am. I'm almost old enough to have grandkids.
Anyway. Hopefully I can see my grandkids, because I'll be pretty old at that time.
You got a lot of life left. All right, Anthony Culpepper Jr., I really appreciate your time and for appearing on the T.O.A. Storytellers podcast.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. It's been wonderful.
It's been awesome. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Hey, it's Todd. I just want to let you know this T.O.A. Storytellers podcast episode is sponsored by my company, T.O.A. Associates. We've been supplying court reporters for depositions since 2003. If you're an attorney and need a reporter anywhere in California, we've got you covered. We're on a lot of preferred vendor panels already, but if we're not on the ones you have, usually a simple inquiry from you to your TPA or employer does the trick. Or if you work at a TPA or employer, please ask your defense attorneys to give us a try on one of your files. We've been known to treat our clients like family, and we would love a chance to work with you next. To schedule a deposition, simply call 888-566-0253 or visit www.toddolivas.com. That's www.toddolivas.com. Thank you, and hopefully we'll see you at your next deposition.